You grew up hearing that discipline was a matter of effort, that it was enough to wake up early, make lists, and push forward with motivation. But that idea, so widely sold as harmless, is a disguised trap. True discipline, the kind that builds empires and governs destinies, has nothing to do with fleeting motivation. It is brutal, strategic, silent. It is a war waged in the darkness, far from the world's eyes. Machiavelli understood this like few others. He knew that those who conquer themselves shape reality, while those who wait to feel ready remain enslaved by their own impulses. It's not about creating a pretty agenda or repeating positive phrases in front of a mirror. It's about establishing an internal structure so solid that no external chaos can invade it. For Machiavelli, discipline was as essential as a city's walls before a war. A soldier doesn't run in the rain because he's inspired. He runs because there's an order, a reason, a mission. If you truly want to change your life, you'll have to abandon the idea of comfort and embrace pain as a tool for construction. While the world applauds spontaneity and romanticizes laziness, here you'll learn why discipline is what separates kings from servants, those who rule from those who obey. This video isn't for those seeking nice advice. It's for those ready to build their fortress and declare war on their own weakness. This video is for those ready to take on the brutal responsibility of shaping themselves, like a craftsman shapes a sword. True discipline demands constant vigilance, strategic planning, relentless self-control. It requires you to build an internal fortress where luck has no power, where chaos finds no cracks. Today, you'll understand why Machiavelli treated discipline as a state secret, an unnegotiable foundation of power. If you have the courage to apply what you learn here, you'll never be the same. Machiavelli didn't write to console fools. He wrote to train strategists, to arm the minds of those willing to face the harsh reality of power. When we consider discipline from a Machiavellian perspective, we must forget any childish idea of willpower based on motivation. For Machiavelli, discipline is structure, strategy, survival. Without it, even the most promising man becomes easy prey to forces he cannot control. In The Prince, Machiavelli states, just as the good order of militias is the origin of good order in states, discipline is what allows a city or an army to withstand adversities. He makes it clear that without discipline, neither cities, nor armies, nor individuals can endure. External order, the stability of a state, the strength of a government, is only a reflection of internal order. There is no lasting conquest for those who are slaves to their impulses. There is no real authority for those who don't govern themselves. What Machiavelli saw with a clarity that still terrifies is that discipline isn't an accessory for peaceful times. It's permanent armor. Discipline for him is what keeps a ruler steady against the temptation to act out of anger, fear, or vanity. It's the ability to stick to strategy even when everything around screams for impulsive decisions. Machiavelli said, "An undisciplined prince is more dangerous to himself than any external enemy, because his ruin won't come only from adversaries, it will come from the internal cracks he refused to seal. Acting without calculation, moving without preparation, reacting without reflection, these are the sure paths to downfall." Discipline, therefore, isn't something you practice when it's convenient. It must be cultivated as a rigorous habit, like the constant maintenance of a wall, protecting against inevitable decay. Machiavelli saw humans as inherently vulnerable to the corruption of desire, pride, and fear. Only through relentless vigilance over oneself could one resist that self-destructive force. And don't think this only applied to rulers. Every individual who wants to be the master of their destiny must apply this same mental discipline. If you don't govern your mind, it will be governed by external circumstances, emotions, and impulses. For Machiavelli, those governed by others are already politically dead. They just haven't fallen yet. But Machiavelli's thought goes even deeper. He compares the human spirit to a battlefield, where discipline is the only dividing line between triumph and annihilation. It's precisely this metaphor of the internal war and how it must be fought with the discipline of a true commander that we'll explore in the next part. Imagine an army marching to war without training, without strategy, without obedience to orders. What do you see? a massacre waiting to happen, an inevitable slaughter. No spontaneous bravery can save soldiers who can't resist panic, endure fatigue, or control their instincts in the face of terror. For Machiavelli, this was exactly what condemned mercenary armies and fragile states, the absence of true discipline. In his Discourses on Livy, Machiavelli writes, "The orders of a wise captain are not obeyed by undisciplined soldiers." This statement is more than a military observation. It's a profound psychological principle. If your mind is like an undisciplined army, no conscious order of yours will have effect. You can make resolutions, set goals, promise changes, but if your thoughts, emotions, and impulses aren't trained to obey, they'll desert at the first challenge. You'll find yourself sabotaging your own decisions, betraying your own ambitions. Military discipline, for Machiavelli, was the essence of victory, allowing the few to overcome the many, the weak to overcome the strong. A small but disciplined army was infinitely superior to an undisciplined crowd. The same applies to your inner world. A few well-trained thoughts are more powerful than thousands of conflicting desires. True power lies not in the number of ideas you have, but in the mastery you exercise over them. Now reflect with brutal honesty. How many times have you failed not due to a lack of talent, but due to a lack of control? How many promises to yourself have you broken, not because of a lack of ability, but by allowing fatigue, fear, or doubt to take command? Just as a foolish general loses battles before even fighting, you lose the war of life the moment you abandon mental discipline. Military discipline is waking up every day with the same determination, no matter how you feel. It's obeying your strategies, not your fleeting emotions. It's acting even when your body aches, even when your soul wavers, because victory belongs only to those who don't retreat from the harshness of the path. Machiavelli knew that battles aren't won by brute strength alone, but by relentless order, constant vigilance and preparation that anticipates the unexpected. The same applies to your mind. The modern world glorifies feelings and despises discipline, and that's exactly why so many live defeated, always looking for someone to blame outside themselves. But now you know, if you want to master your life, you'll have to be the general of your own internal army. Train your mind as Machiavelli would train his troops, without mercy, without excuses, without concessions. Because in the battlefield of existence, a lack of discipline is a slow death sentence. And if discipline is what builds virtue, that inner strength capable of shaping one's own destiny, then we need to understand how Machiavelli contrasted virtue and fortune, skill and luck, discipline and chaos. That's what we'll explore in the next part. How to conquer luck through the relentless construction of your virtue. If this content resonates with you, click the subscribe button and join the channel. Thank you for your support. In Machiavelli's brutal and unadorned vision, destiny isn't a fair entity that rewards the good and punishes the bad. Destiny is a blind, relentless force, like a flood that sweeps away the unprepared and destroys poorly protected cities. And here's the truth few have the courage to face. If you're not strong enough to govern your life, chance will govern for you. For Machiavelli, fortune is a fickle lover. She smiles at the bold, but despises the weak. In The Prince, where he writes, "Fortune is like one of those raging rivers that, when furious, flood fields, tear down trees and buildings, lift earth from one side and deposit it on another. Everyone flees from them, all yield to their fury, unable to resist. But though they are so fierce, that doesn't stop men in calm times from taking precautions with dikes and barriers." This metaphor is powerful and should resonate in you like a war alert. The world is unpredictable, violent, indifferent to your dreams and empty promises. Those who wait for luck to smile without preparation are condemning themselves to ruin. Only those who build internal dikes, a disciplined mind, an unbreakable will, can resist when the storm comes. And here's where virtue comes in, one of the deepest concepts in Machiavellian thought. Virtue isn't moral goodness, it's inner power. It's the ability to adapt, to act with strength, intelligence, and resilience in the face of adversity. It's acting strategically, shaping circumstances instead of being shaped by them. Virtue is discipline in action, the expression of your ability to stand firm when everything collapses. to create opportunities where others see only despair, to resist the childish impulse to blame luck for your own failures. For Machiavelli, great men don't depend on luck. They defy it, bend it, use it as a tool, never as an excuse. They build their dikes before the flood, cultivate discipline before a crisis demands a strength they don't have, train their minds for war while others sleep, lulled by the illusion that everything will turn out fine in the end. Now look at your life with brutal honesty. How many times have you waited for circumstances to improve on their own? How many times have you hidden behind the excuse that the moment wasn't right? Fortune, for Machiavelli, is unpredictable but not invincible. Those who depend solely on it are doomed. Those who cultivate virtue triumph. But how do you turn this philosophy into practice? How do you stop being a toy of luck and become a builder of your own destiny? That's exactly what we'll reveal in the next part. The great modern illusion about discipline and why most fail miserably in trying to achieve it. Today, the word discipline has been hijacked. It's been turned into a shelf product, packaged in self-help slogans and sold as an easy trick. They say discipline is about creating automatic habits, using apps, planners, colorful spreadsheets, as if the oldest battle of humanity, self-mastery, could be won with phone reminders and motivational quotes. This modern vision is a grotesque farce. Machiavelli, if alive today, would laugh at this naivety. He knew that true discipline isn't comfortable, isn't easy, isn't something you install in your life like software. Discipline is pain. It's a war declared against everything weak, lazy, and cowardly within you. You fail because you've been conditioned to seek shortcuts, trained to believe that if you find the right habit, your life will magically align. But real discipline doesn't come from comfort. It's born from confrontation. It's not about waking up inspired to act. It's acting even when your body begs for rest, even when your mind tries to negotiate surrender. Machiavelli taught us that those who wait for the perfect moment are already defeated. Preparation must be done in calm, not when the storm has already arrived. Discipline must be built in monotonous days, in silent moments, in the invisible battles we fight far from the world's eyes. It's in what no one sees that true power is forged, but the modern mindset treats failure as normal, as part of a process. They teach you to forgive yourself too much, to reward yourself for every micro victory, as if life were a self-esteem competition and not a matter of real survival. While you anesthetize yourself with excuses, your potential rots within you. Modern discipline is emotional, dependent on mood, motivation, environment. The discipline Machiavelli describes is structural. It ignores mood, despises motivation, imposes itself like a mental fortress made of stone, not emotion. Those who wait to feel ready, who wait for the perfect alignment of the stars to act, live like cattle being led to the slaughter, waiting for someone else to decide their fate. If you want to build the discipline that forges empires, you'll have to do what most never do. Abandon the need to feel comfortable, accept that pain is part of it, embrace hardship as part of the forging process, transform your mind into a training ground where weaknesses aren't tolerated but eliminated. And if you've grasped the gravity of what we're discussing so far, then you're ready for the next step. How to build step by step a brutal and strategic routine based on Machiavelli's principles, a routine capable of making your discipline unbreakable. That's what we'll build in the next part. It's time to abandon empty theories. If you want to win, you need to transform discipline into a brutal, inflexible daily practice. It's not enough to understand the importance of discipline as a concept. You need to build a structure so solid that neither your laziness, fear, nor doubt has room to survive. Machiavelli taught that a wise prince anticipates disasters, builds defenses before they're needed. You must do the same with your mind. Establish your internal war strategies before the battle begins. If you wake up each day waiting to see how you feel to act, you've already lost. Your victory or defeat will be decided in the first hours of the morning, long before the world even notices you're in the game. Here's the method. 1. Constant vigilance. Daily self-observation. Every day without exception, you must observe your own thoughts and behaviors like a general inspecting his army before battle. Ask yourself, where am I leaving gaps? When are my emotions taking command? If you let a small lazy habit, an innocent excuse, or a silly distraction take hold, know this. Those are the cracks through which failure will invade your fortress. Imagine your mind as a castle. Every act of laziness is a stone removed from the wall. Every procrastination is a catapult aimed at your own defenses. Constant vigilance means acting like a commander who, even in times of peace, inspects his defenses every day, corrects flaws immediately, and punishes any sign of decay without mercy. 2. Clear, strategic routines that eliminate the need for decisions. You need to understand a brutal truth. Your brain, if given the option, will always choose the path of least resistance. Every decision requires energy. Every doubt consumes willpower. Machiavelli taught that in times of uncertainty, those who hesitate die. So building discipline starts by eliminating daily decisions as much as possible. Rigid routines aren't a prison. They're true freedom. You must set fixed times for waking up, working, studying, training, and stick to them like a soldier follows orders on the battlefield. Practical example, if you wait to decide whether to train after a tiring day at work, guess what? You won't train. Your brain will sabotage you, but if you turn training into a non-negotiable commitment, part of your identity, there's no room for internal negotiation. Training happens, period. 3. Relentless reinforcement. Real consequences for failures. In the real world, actions have consequences. In war, a mistake isn't a detail. It's the difference between life and death. You must create consequences for your own actions. If you fail to follow your routines, there must be an immediate, tangible, painful price so your mind understands that failure isn't an acceptable option. Practical example, set a public commitment. If you fail your routine, you must donate money to a cause you despise. Tell your friends you failed. Carry the weight of shame and loss. And most importantly, you must understand that discipline isn't just about rewards. It's mainly about avoiding ruin. Comparison to fix the idea. Think of a soldier in training. He doesn't choose to run 5 kilometers in the rain because he's motivated. He runs because there's a chain of command, because he knows failure means punishment, shame, expulsion. Your mind must work the same way. Obey because it's right, not because it's comfortable. That's the truth few accept. Building real discipline is putting chains on yourself before life puts shackles on you. It's turning hardship into a daily ritual. It's waking up every day and, without pitying yourself, marching toward your goal with the coldness of a relentless commander. Now that you know what you need to do, a deeper question arises. Why, despite knowing all this, do so many people continue sabotaging their own lives? It's this silent sabotage, this war against oneself, that will expose and destroy in the next part. If what you're hearing resonates with you, you'll find real value in my ebook, Beyond the Shadow. It breaks down Jung's main ideas and provides tools to understand yourself more deeply. The link is in the pinned comment. If you've made it this far, you need to understand one thing. Knowledge without action is cowardice. Many will hear these words, feel their incisive truth, and still return to lives of excuses, procrastination, and self-sabotage. They'll go back to being subjects of their own impulses, slaves to their own weakness, begging for scraps of luck while cursing fate. But a few will make the choice that transforms ordinary men into commanders of their own destiny. The choice to stop being governed and start governing. The choice to build true discipline, not as an ornament for good days, but as an unbreakable mechanism that sustains your entire existence. Machiavelli taught us that governing a state without discipline is a certain invitation to disorder and collapse. Now you know that governing your life without discipline is exactly the same. Your mind is your territory, your habits are your troops, your decisions are your war strategies. Will you be the prince or will you be the prisoner? There is no middle ground. There never was. You might think you still have time, that you can start tomorrow, next week, or when things get better. But Machiavelli warned us, the prince who waits for the perfect moment to act will be destroyed by the first tide of misfortune. The moment is now, while you still have strength, while you can still raise the walls of your inner fortress. Discipline yourself, not for pleasure, not for approval, not for aesthetics. Discipline yourself because your life depends on it, because your freedom depends on it, because your greatness demands it. The discipline Machiavelli described wasn't for the weak, and neither is this video. If you've made it this far, you've already taken the first step. But now the real choice begins. Continue as you are, or forge yourself like a commander forges his army. In the comments, write with conviction, "I will be my own prince." And more than writing it, prove it every day. Watch the next video right now because the internal war doesn't wait, and true discipline begins when no one is watching. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.